Welcome, folks, to My Combat Channel News. I'm the Yak Man, Ryan Yakovetti.
I'm correct, and this is Vanilla Ice. That's Fabiano here, the king of armbar.
Word
There you go.
to somebody, possibly your mother, whoever's available, really.
Who did that with you?
Did what?
Look like
The hair?
the hair.
You like that?
Well, it's a guys. If you're at home and you've been follow up this show, it's a good time to go to mycombatchannel.com or Facebook or tweet us and let us know what you think about the hair.
It's the same hair I've had every show.
Oh my God!
It's the same hair.
No, mine is the same. Every single show. Anyway, we got a lot to do. Let's go back to work.
Yes, back to work. We start out first with a guy who has not yet made a UFC appearance, but talks are on that it should happen, and it should happen right away. Eddie Alvarez, standout in Bellator, also used to fight for Elite XC back in the day when I was there. One of the best lightweights in the business, bar none, doing exceptionally well in his career, and now Dana White is saying he notices and that he could be on his way. What do you think about that?
Well, again, he's young, 28 years old. He's 24 wins, 3 losses only in his career. So, and he got funny look. He looked like The Rock, trying to do the eyebrow sometimes. Yeah,
There's a little bit right there.
In good shape, always.
Yep.
So he's definitely deserved his spot on the UFC, and we'll be here waiting to see that happen.
He still is a part of Bellator, and he gave what would be the diplomatic and right answer to say. He said whatever promotion would give him a career and he could fight with, and he wants to fight the best fighters in the world, regardless. But you know that even though he says that, the first chance he gets to Dana White to work for the UFC, he's going to take it. That's what everybody does.
Again, my friend, I'm sitting here, you know, I've been on the other side of the game, and I don't care where you fight, how big you are. Back in the day when you go home, your dream is to fight in the UFC, at least once, you know, have your name there. So I know that he's doing well on Bellator, but, you know, how long Bellator can hold him, and, you know, money talk, and UFC does have the bank behind them. So.
Right. Part of it, obviously, the UFC, the biggest promotion in the sport. The other part of it, do you think that fighters just feel like they can't solidify their legacy as one of the best if they've never been in the UFC? Fedor, for example, hurt by that, never fought in the UFC. The Couture fight never happened. Does that hurt his legacy that he wasn't in there?
I think so. That's what I think. It's kind of like you know, you are a high level athlete and you never be able to compete in the Olympic.
Right.
So if, you know, your sport that you do is Olympic sport, and when you go back into, and you at least you get qualified by your country and you go represent and you go there, and if you have a chance to bring a medal, doesn't matter each one it is, you know.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of like if I like to compare the story. You know?
Yeah, no, that's a great analogy to make, and that's for any fighter anywhere in the world. With the sport being global, wherever the SFL in India, they inevitably want to be in the UFC. That's the goal. Alvarez will be there, and I think he'll do well.
And I hope one day the goal is to be on the Olympic for MMA.
Olympic would be good.
We move it on.
Yes, this is something I thought you would love.
I love that.
Having the abs that you have under there.
I love that. Yeah.
This is judging fighters. A lot of times they get judged on physique. People look at him enter the cage and you go, oh, he's in great shape, or he's not in great shape, but not always visual. You can't always see fit.
No.
For example, strongman Mariusz Pudzianowski fought in mixed martial arts. We'll see photos of Mariusz now in his video. Look at that guy.
Yeah, like he's incredible shape for his size.
Pudzianowski's super strong.
Yeah, super strong, heavyweight, and condition-wise, I think he did okay. I saw like his fight, and that's of course Nelson right there.
Roy Big Country Nelson
doesn't look like in good shape, but he is in good shape.
Yeah,
he can handle like five minutes rounds easily
at a good pace.
And and keep pushing up the whole time. And I do believe that we got a video from. What his guy's name?
From Pudzianowski?
Yeah,
it's already you get tired just saying that. Yeah. I'm gassed out saying
his name. Look, him, of course, right against another monster.
Bob the Beast Sapp.
Bob said, I met him, when I shake his hand, I felt like a little kid. Like his hand was like all over my hand. He was like that tall. It was like a giant next to me. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, watching this fight, my compliments to the carpenter, whoever put that ring together that's holding up.
You remember back in the days when he used to fight in Pride? Pride make compare him to a real gorilla side, and he almost have the size of a gorilla. You remember that? I don't know if you remember that. There was like they compare both side to side. It was unbelievable.
Wow, yeah, he's a large guy. Pudzianowski, same thing. You see, Nelson would always rub the belly, would always let you know, yeah, I'm chubby, I got the thing going on.
But he's been getting in shape, you know that.
He has lost weight.
Yeah,
yes.
he lost the weight and he's getting in shape, so.
Yep, he has, in fact, too. So, and again, you said he's got the gas tank. Pudzianowski, not. A lot of guys look fit, run out of gas.
Yep.
Some guys don't look fit, but they can make it. You see Nelson right here. That's what the beard when it was smaller. Maybe the beard lightening up gave him some more energy.
Like maybe have the power on the hand, you know, like. Anyway, I like him. You know, his ground game is unbelievable.
Really,
his stand up, a tough guy. He's like that's the guy. That's not that fat guy that you want to pick a fight in the club or in the bar. Anyway.
Find out you're wrong. Yeah,
there we go.
For sure. Before we go to break, a quick WTF moment right here. This is one of the reporters well known and respected in mixed martial arts, Ariel Helwani. This is how fans in MMA see him. Smiley, cheery guy. You'll see the image coming up in a second because we have one of those.
Where's the image of him?
There it is. There he is. Happy-go-lucky, smiley guy. But this is how non-MMA fans see him when he does anything else. This is sitting in with ESPN right here. You see the next image.
On the next picture of him.
There you go, right there. You see him on the right-hand side. That is how
on the right.
The nose is very similar.
And the color too. Anyway, guys, we got to pay our bills, and the president is back in the house.
Oh yeah, not D-Dub. The real deal.
President. It's not Dana White. I'm talking about the president.
Yeah, coming up next. Welcome back, folks. My Combat Channel News. You're excited, I can see it.
I'm excited because, you know, he came here, he came to the show. I asked him to help me out in my citizenship, and guess what?
Are you staying in the country?
I'm an American citizen.
Ah, in EHA we trust. He's not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
Arm bars galore.
If I move from here, I move either back to Brazil or to Japan. That's right.
Those are the two places you would go because of your background?
Yeah.
Brazil or Japan?
There you go.
What about Canada?
No way.
Right.
Not gonna see me in Canada. It's too cold over there.
Speaking of domesticating and being in the USA, we have none other than himself, the President of the United States, Mr. Barack Obama.
Hey, Ron and Fabiano, how you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Good. Fabiano, you enjoying that citizenship?
I do. Thank you, my friend.
Now, you know, the Second Amendment gives every American the right to bear arms. I just added an extra amendment for you to give you the right to arm bars.
I want to see that paper.
I hope you like that. Now, my fellow Americans and fight fanatics, welcome to this episode of the Barack Down. Now, before I begin, let's get something straight here. Now, Volkman, what is wrong with you? I got the t-shirt you sent. If you want my job, we can handle this the old-fashioned way, and I'll show you why they call me the most powerful man in the world. This should say, Volkman, mayor of Munchkinland. That's more realistic. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. America is still in recovery mode, and we need to ensure that we encourage growth in the combat sports sector, or as Mitt Romney refers to it, the 47%. Now, while our great sport of MMA is growing, we need not ignore signs of its struggles to sustain this booming industry. Strikeforce has canceled 2 events in a row, and the UFC canceled 1, not that anyone's counting. But this trend can be damaging to the sport. Now, from what I see, the main thing that is making the MMA world a lot less stable is fighter injuries and suspensions. Now, first, suspensions. Here's the deal, folks. If you plan to fight within 6 to 12 months, do not associate with Nick and Nate Diaz, or as we refer to them in the White House, the Doobie Brothers. That's what sidelined Jake Shields, or so we think. However, what we do know is it wasn't performance-enhancing drugs he got suspended for. Not to say he wouldn't do them, but we're pretty sure there weren't any left after Alistair Overeem got his hands on him. Just kidding, Alistair. Innocent until proven guilty, right? Right. And here's a big one. We need MMA, and here's a big one. We need fighters in MMA, not friends. Now, unless Joe Silva is using Match.com to make the fight cards, I suggest he gets Anderson Silva to fight John Jones sometime soon. It's a sport, people, and you have to please the fans. You fight first, then make friends after. It's critical if MMA wants to be mainstream. How would you all feel if suddenly the Super Bowl was canceled because the Giants and the Jets didn't want to take each other on? They say, hey, we share the same city. Can't we all just get along? That's not how pro sports work. And at the least, if not Jones, Silva should take on the Canadian Jean-Claude Van Damme, GSP. I can't even think of any other sport where this happens. Big Nog recently said that he won't fight Junior Dos Santos. I'm sorry, what? Someone needs to crack him in his big noggin. MMA needs top-level fights to happen, or its own economy will crash, and there will be more fighters than George Masvidal willing to work for food. Now, fighters need to be able to make ends meet in MMA without second jobs. This is crucial to the sport. Look, Matt Lindland went into politics, Chris Lytle fights fires, and Houston Alexander works as a radio DJ on KPDW in Omaha. What's next? Carlos Condit's Muffin Shop? Come on, Dana. Take care of your fighters and they will take care of you. These are modern-day gladiators. You can't kick ass part-time. So in conclusion, take a moment and write your favorite fighters and tell them to stop making BFFs and start making MMA history by fighting each other. We need it. We deserve it. And at $59 for pay-per-view, I'd say we've earned it. Now, it's bad enough that training, hobbies, and everyday life injures athletes and cancels cards. So the last thing mixed martial arts can afford is for the healthy ones to act like divas. And just leave that to Frank Mir. Thank you. God bless you. And if I offended any fighter out there, remember this. I have Secret Service, so bring it on. Thank you.
Oh my God. Like
Brock.
you need to add your picture with the gi on the back. Like you have picture of your family, but you don't have one of the gi on yet.
Yeah, because we know you're training.
Yeah, you know, I'm moving on up. I just got my blue belt last week.
Yeah, like you should have like a picture like line up with when you're changing the belts. And bring me on. I'd love to show you some of the arm bars.
Yeah, anything you want. I'm a big fan of yours, so come right on up. I'll send Air Force One to scoop it.
Thank you again. Thanks
Sounds
to
good,
come
yeah.
one more time to the show. That's great. That show how
big we're getting.
exactly. Thanks to put the
We
word in my
matter
mouth.
to people, the president on our show. We thank you very much for joining us, Mr. President.
Thank you. God bless.
We'll have him back.
Oh
gotta have him
yeah,
back.
we got to have him back. I hope next time he coming back with the gear and show some position on.
Oh, we can do a Brock Down with the move of the week.
Yeah.
Great idea. When we come back, a little bit more show and your favorite part, even with the president on.
Yes, the top 10. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
He likes it. Welcome back to My Combat. We get bored sometimes. It's a long commercial break. You're watching that, thinking about what
at
you're
least
gonna
we
buy.
don't fight. At least we're not fighting like
Yeah,
that.
but that's our dream, though, to one day have that sanctioned.
Oh my God.
So, speaking of fighting, we want to talk now about a lot of the shows where if it was not for these shows, the UFC's talent would not be as developed when they find it. Shows like now a Resurrection Fighting Alliance, putting on great shows, having named talent, just acquired another show, one would argue on the same level, Titan FC. Titan FC had shows with guys like Phil Baroni, established fighters, now acquired by RFA. And you see here the logo is now joined. You know the business side as well as the fight side, where you're sitting.
So they joined, or they just one bought the other one, or just
RFA
joined?
acquired and bought Titan.
Okay, great.
So it's not a partnership, it's an acquisition.
So basically, like they've been doing the same thing UFC been doing in the US. They've been doing that outside the US, just getting and buying the upcoming events and make themselves stronger.
Right.
Excellent.
As a business model for a promotion like that's got television. You see, they get HDNet. And is it a good idea to be acquiring another promotion, which may double your expense and may hit your bottom line a little bit heavier? Is the upside worth it?
Well, they get more talent, of course. I think at the end of the day, it's definitely worth it. When they probably, like, when they get into that point, they already have the business straight up together, so they solid into the game.
Interesting too, because some of the talent that they have too, and then some of they acquired from doing this. Marcio Pedapano Cruz, who was the champion at Art of Fighting down in Florida when I commentated for some of those championship bouts. Great jiu-jitsu guy. I'm sure you know who he is.
Oh yeah. He was the best jiu-jitsu guy that went to MMA.
Yep.
On the heavyweight division.
Yeah, and I'd seen heavyweights just go at him and try to take him off his feet, and he subs him. There he is right there.
Yeah.
That was actually, that may have been from one of the shows in Florida. See fighting in the back, that's Art of Fighting. Tremendous athlete, great fighter.
I agree.
Also, Gilbert Ivo, and then they have Jen's Little Evil Pulver as well.
That he was also amazing fighter that have his very strong and good moment in the UFC.
A lot of promotions like these shows, you see here again, Pedapano Cruz,
Yeah.
when he was in the UFC.
Yeah, that's Dana right in the background. Can't miss that up.
No question. A lot of these shows build off of the guy's name, part of which has got value because he was in the UFC.
Of course.
Is that the right thing to do? Everybody tries to do it. Elite XC tried to do that, and it doesn't always stick.
Well, but it's always good to have on the poster ex-UFC fighter. It's always good to have. And sometimes ex-UFC champion, that's happened a lot. You know, like they kind of like end up like getting out contract to UFC so they can go to other organization and the organization can use their names to try and sell more tickets.
Yeah, and interesting too. And then this is a place where fighters can build their career, they can make their name, and these are the places that, it's odd to me that the UFC doesn't support and in some way link up to these promotions, because without them, fighters don't have the platform to get to that level, and then they have to have the second jobs because they don't get the same exposure, and then the talent pool, I think, gets weaker.
Doesn't happen a lot also, but sometimes they go out and they come back in.
Right.
Like they say that, you know, the good kid always come back home, so
that's true.
Sometimes they happen. They go out and they end up beating up everybody on their organization, and UFC one day back.
Yeah, you see here, this is Jen's Little Evil Pulver in one of his Titan FC fights, and that's true. Those promotions are not just for the way up. These guys get into the UFC. If they don't win a few, they lose, they end up getting bounced out, and that's the immediate goal.
And they go
Where
back.
do I get to fight my way back into the UFC? And that's what those shows help.
I don't know where you get. I know where I'm getting. I'm getting into the top 10 middleweight division. That's what everybody at home waiting for.
He's right. It's right here.
Let's take a look.
Hey everyone, this is Erin Gales, and this is your top 10 middleweight division. At number 10, we have Yushin Okami. Number 9 is Luke Rockhold. Number 8, Brian Stan. At number 7, we have the Filipino wrecking machine, Mark Munoz. At number 6, we have Tim Boach. And at number 5, we have a phenom, Vitor Belfort. At number 4, we have Michael the Count Bisping. At number 3, we have Chris Weidman. Number 2, Chael Sonnen. And at number 1, we have Anderson the Spider Silva. Thank you for watching. I'm Erin Gales, and that was your top 10 middleweight division.
that make me dizzy.
You know, she thanks us for watching, but really not necessary.
No, and that spin, like almost like I almost spin with her.
Yeah, we have to get Aaron
Gales
Gales in 3D. How about that?
That's good. We need to have some glasses.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
What else? Maybe like.
You could actually reach out, but if you touch her, that can be dangerous, or so I found out.
You saw what happened last time. You
don't want to touch her. You
don't
ask first.
Don't do that. Anyway, guys, tweet mycombatchannel.com, Facebook mycombatchannel.com.
Yep. Tweet us, twiddle us, twindle us, Facebook.
What else?
Go to mycombatchannel.com. Wherever you can find us, go there, because we'll have content. And you get to look at him.
Not him.
No, not me.